It was quite funny that my little sweetheart Susie, my cute pet, took away my chessboard in the morning for playing. I felt that she was struggling with setting up the board. Maybe she wanted to show her authority on the board as some of the pieces had names of animals in ancient times. Still, we have a knight in our chess army. Even today, we follow that names in our rural areas. When I started playing chess, I used to call rook a rath, chariot, knight a horse, and bishop an elephant. At some places, rook was called as elephant and bishop as camel. Welcome back everyone to my YouTube channel, The Back Ranks. This is Bijuraj Surendran. I am an international arbiter of chess, federated player and a chess coach. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and don't forget to enable the bell icon. And also, if you like this content, please put a thumbs up and also share it with your friends. Today, I will be discussing about how to set up a chessboard, name, value of pieces and its movements, and also discuss about some special moves in chess. So, let's get started. The chessboard is an 8x8 grid of alternating colored squares. Half of 64 squares are called light squares, while the others are known as dark squares. If you have a chess set and want to start a game, the first thing you need to do is to get the board set up correctly. Lay out the light squares in the bottom right corner. It is important to orient the board in the right direction so that each side will be set up correctly. An easy way to remember this is white on the right. For two-dimensional boards, each horizontal row of squares is called the rank. Each vertical column of squares is called a file, and each oblique line of squares of the same color is called a diagonal. Each player has 6 different types of pieces: 8 pawns, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, a queen, and the most important one, the king. Now let's learn the numerical value of pieces. Pawn 1 point, knight 3 points, bishop 3 points, rook 5 points, queen 9 points, and the mighty king, it's infinity. Now let's arrange the pieces on the board. Settle the pawns on the second rank. Put your rooks in the corners. Place your knight near your rooks. Bishop goes next to the knight. Queen goes on her color. That is, if it is a white queen, it goes to the white square, and if black, queen will be placed at the black square. Place your king in the last square available. Make sure that the white king is in the black square and the black king is in the white square. Now you learned how to set up a chessboard. Let's look at how pieces moves. The rook. The rook moves horizontally or vertically any number of squares. Knight. Knight moves in an L shape, 2 squares in horizontal or vertical direction. Then move 1 square horizontally or vertically. They are the only piece able to jump over other pieces. The diagram indicates the possible moves of the knight. Bishop moves diagonally any number of squares of their color. Queens move diagonally, horizontally or vertically any number of squares. Kings move 1 square in any direction, so long as that square is not attacked by any enemy piece. Additionally, kings are able to make a special move known as castling that we'll discuss a little bit details in later. Pawns. Pawns move vertically forward 1 square, with option to move 2 squares if they are not yet moved. Pawns capture 1 square diagonally in a forward direction. Pawn promotion. Pawn promotion occurs when a pawn reaches the furthest rank from its original square, the 8th rank of white and the 1st rank of black. When this happens, the player can replace the pawn for a queen, a rook, a bishop, or a knight. Most of the time, players promote a pawn to a queen, which is popularly known as queening the pawn. En passant. En passant is a special pawn rule in chess, a French expression which means in passing. The capturing pawn must be on its 5th rank. The threatened pawn must have moved 2 squares from its starting square and to be on adjacent file. The capture can only be made on the move immediately after opposing pawn makes the move. Otherwise, the right to capture en passant is lost. If all these conditions have met, the threatened pawn can be removed as if the pawn had moved only 1 square. castling. Castling is one of the special moves in chess that you need to know to play properly. It is the only time you get to move two pieces at the same time, and each player is only allowed to castle once under certain conditions. The move is crucial, but it is also simple to learn. There are two types of castling. Kingside castling. We also call it castling short, where the white king goes two space to his right and then the rook leaps over the king and occupies the square right next to it. Same way, black king can go two space to his left and the rook leap over the king and occupies the square right next to it. Queenside castling. Similarly, king moves two space, but this time white king goes left and black king goes right. Then the rook leaps over the king and occupies the square right next to it. Rules: the king and rook may not have moved from their starting squares if you want to castle. All the space between the king and the rook must be empty. The squares that kings pass over must not be under attack. The king cannot be in check. The square where kings lands on must not be under attack. Is castling allowed in this position? Yes, castling is allowed in this position as the bishop is neither controlling the square that the king passes over nor the square where it lands on. Check. When a king is attacked, it is called check. Checkmate, usually known as mate. It is a situation in the game of chess where player's king is threatened directly by another player's piece. The king is in check and has no way to defend him by escaping, capturing the threatening piece or blocking it with another piece so that it doesn't reach the king. It is the dream of every chess piece to give checkmate to the opponent's king, because when you give checkmate, the game is over and you win. Stalemate. Stalemate is a situation in the game of chess where the player whose turn is to move is not in check but has no legal move. The rules of chess provide that when stalemate occurs, the game ends as a draw. Now you know how to set up a chessboard and the movement of pieces. So let's make our first move. Remember, white moves first. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be coming with more instructional videos in coming days. Stay tuned, stay blessed, take care.